So in class we learned about the Ndebele tribe, and so for this week we're going to create one of their houses and use the geometric patterns that you see displayed. Now normally we draw with our paper oriented like this. This is portrait. However, for this lesson we are going to use the landscape orientation, which means it is horizontal. So you are going to need a sheet of paper, and you're going to need a half sheet, and then you're going to need pencil, markers, or crayons, coloring pencils, whatever your color choice is. So on the full sheet of paper, what you're going to do is you're going to draw a horizontal line across your paper, and then you are going to color the bottom half as your ground and the top half as your sky. So you can make your sky any time of the day, night, day, sunset, sunrise, whatever, it's your choice. And then your ground, they are in southern Africa, so there is some grass, but for the most part, from what I could see, most of it is like dirt, so you could color it brown. And so then once you do that, we can move on to the next step. So I have colored my ground brown. I've used coloring pencils, and I've taken yellows, oranges, pinks to create my sky. I wanted a sunset kind of sky. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our half sheet of paper. Now you can look at the reference slide for the house shapes if you want. And so I'm going to take this half sheet of paper. I'm going to fold it like it's a card. So this is my fold, and this is the open end. Now, this fold is the center of my building, so I'm going to mark about an inch of the way down here. I'm going to mark about a third here. So using these marks, I'm going to draw what I want my building to look like. And since they have these step looking parts of their building, that's what I'm going to do. Now if you want the curved hut house, you would just simply go from this point to this one and connect to make a roof if you would like. So and I want to add a door, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to draw a rectangle, a skinny one, so I know this is going to be half of my door. Okay. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut my paper. And then when I open this up, you can see my pencil marks. So that's going to be the back of my paper. And there is my building. So the reason why this is also on half a sheet is so that you have enough, you can see enough of your background. So there is my building. And then these little pieces that you cut from earlier, I'm going to take it and just cut along that fold. Going to flip it, and this you can either orient this away, maybe you want this away, but you can place it on your paper to create your fence, or even you can attach it to the side of your building to extend the length of your building. I kind of like it like this, so that it is like a fence around my building. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go ahead and trace my shape. Let me grab this other half a sheet of paper so I don't mark my table. I'm going to take my marker and trace the shape of this so that when I lay it on here, I have a little bit of a drastic line, because they do leave their buildings white, and I wanted to leave some spacing. But what we're going to do is you're going to add geometric shapes onto your building. Now remember, it is symmetrical, so remember where this line is, meaning if it's on one side, it's going to be on the other. So for here, I'm going to add a rectangle. And then here I'm going to add a rectangle. And then maybe I'm going to add a rhombus on the inside. Now, they do like the hidden messages. I know I wrote that in my instructions, but we might not have talked about that in class or in the video. So they kind of like to hide little secret messages in the decoration. So for instance, trying to think of a letter. Okay, so my maiden name was Hewitt, so that's an H. So I would draw an H here. And I'll draw an H here. And then maybe I'll do a triangle here. Two of them. Okay, so that kind of looks like an M. And then I would draw designs on my fence as well. So I'm going to continue drawing designs, and you will draw on yours. So I have my designs drawn. I added some H's in the fence and some more geometric shapes. And I've done the same there. But I did go with my marker and trace along the outside of my building, and that is completely up to you. You do not have to do the same thing. Now, they do use very colorful colors when they're in their buildings and whatnot. You can use crayons or coloring pencils or markers or whatever you have. I know I did my background in coloring pencil, but I'm going to do my building with markers. Now, I would say that if you color one color, that you do the same to the other side. But I've noticed that in the pictures, that's not always the case. So it's more of a personal choice. Just know to leave part of your building white. They do leave quite a few sections of their building actually in white to show through, just to make the colors kind of pop. So if you just want to only color in your geometric shapes, you can do that. And then once you have that colored, we will move on to the next step. So now I've gone in and I've colored my house, leaving parts of it white, and I've colored my fence. I actually wanted a kind of to tell the difference between my house and the fences. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a glue stick. I'm going to position this how I want it on my paper. And then going to glue it down. So when we glue, we trace the shape. Make an X in the big areas. Press. Then I'm going to figure out how I want my fence, and I kind of like it being slightly off from the bottom of my paper. and I'm going to glue. Sorry, I know I'm off screen. But I'm going to glue my fence. Even though it's covering up part of my house, it's fine. And there we have my